you can't be thinking you're gonna go have plastic surgery on the Groupon.
Exactly.
Like you,
The
ain't no
Botox
plastic
parties.
surgery on sale.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And if it's on sale, 9 times out of 10, you're not supposed to get it from the person that's having a sale on liposuction. Don't do that.
Y'all, things in the Braxton family have gone from awkward to apocalyptic. Because Tamar Braxton didn't just throw shade, she lit the whole family tree on fire. Now, we all know the Braxtons have had their share of ups and downs. From Braxton family values to their solo careers, they've lived half their lives in front of cameras. But what's happening right now? It's not a storyline. It's real life. And it's ugly. It all started quietly. Tamar had been dropping little comments on her new show, talking about fake sisters, liars hiding behind gospel voices, and people pretending to be classy while their real life stinks. At first, fans assumed she was just being her usual messy, unfiltered self. But then, she went live. And when I tell you she detonated a bomb on her own bloodline, I mean it literally. Tamar looked straight into the camera, eyes cold, and said, "Everybody want to act high and mighty, but y'all don't know what's really going on behind that BBL gone wrong. Birdman didn't leave because of money, he left because of that smell." The comments froze. The chat went wild. And within minutes, BBL Toni was trending on Twitter. People were like, ain't no way she just said that about her own sister. But yes, she did, and she doubled down.
Confessing that although I love my family, most of the time I don't like my family. Everyone in my family.
Take a breath.
Everybody. I feel like I'm angry at everybody in my family. I don't like my family. If they weren't my family, they wouldn't be my friends.
She claimed Toni got a secret BBL that didn't heal right, and that Birdman allegedly distanced himself because of it. And y'all already know, once Tamar opens her mouth, there's no closing it. She didn't stop there. She said Toni had been lying for years about her body, that she paid for her curves, but tried to preach about natural beauty. It was cold. And it hit hard, especially because Toni has always presented herself as the elegant, soft-spoken sister, the one with poise, the one who keeps her private life private. So when Tamar came for her like that, fans knew it was personal. But let's rewind, because this feud didn't come out of nowhere. The tension between Tamar and Toni has been brewing for years. Behind the smiles and the sisterly harmonies, there's been jealousy, resentment, and constant competition. Tamar always felt like she was the underdog, the baby of the family, the one nobody took seriously. And Toni? She was the star, the legend, the Grammy-winning diva who paved the way for all the sisters. But fame has a funny way of twisting family ties, because somewhere along the line, love turned into rivalry. Tamar once admitted that she felt like her success was never enough, that no matter what she did, she was always Toni's little sister. Meanwhile, Toni has said that Tamar's attitude and outbursts embarrassed her, that Tamar made the family look ungrateful. So this BBL drama? It's not about surgery. It's about power. And then came the cease and desist. According to insiders, Toni sent Tamar a legal letter telling her to stop mentioning her name on her podcast or in interviews. The letter basically said, "Keep my name out your mouth." Tamar, feeling humiliated, decided she wasn't going to be silenced. So she hit go live and spilled everything she'd been holding back. That's when she brought up the surgery, the alleged infection, the Birdman split, and that infamous smell comment. Now, that's a level of betrayal most families couldn't come back from. Fans started digging, old photos, body comparisons, everything. Some were saying, she's lying, Toni's always been curvy. Others were like, nah, Tamar might be exposing the truth. A viral side-by-side from 2000 versus 2024 shows Toni's waist smaller, her hips rounder, and her frame completely transformed. The speculation spread like wildfire. But here's where it gets really dark. Sources close to Toni told media outlets that she was devastated by what Tamar said. Not just embarrassed, but hurt. Apparently, Toni felt like her baby sister used her insecurities for clout. And honestly, they might be right. Because Toni has never been shy about the fact that fame made her self-conscious. In a 2001 interview, she said, "When I first got signed, I was surrounded by these beautiful women, and I didn't feel enough. I changed my nose because I wanted balance. I did my breasts because I wanted to feel feminine. That honesty made people love her more. But now, that vulnerability is being used against her by her own sister. Let's talk about Birdman for a second, because that's where things get extra suspicious. Toni and Birdman's relationship has always been complicated. They were friends for over a decade before things turned romantic, but fans never fully understood the dynamic. Birdman, the cash money mogul with a hardcore rap image, and Toni, the soulful R&B queen with a soft voice and a heart condition. When they finally tied the knot on August 8, 2024, it seemed like a happy ending. But 2 days later, Toni filed for divorce. She called the marriage irretrievably broken. And that's when the rumors started flying. Some said it was about money, others said cheating. But Tamar's version adds a whole new layer. That Birdman allegedly backed out because of Toni's post-surgery complications. Now, nobody's confirmed that, but it explains the sudden divorce. It also explains why Toni reportedly tried to walk away with a $160 million payout. Because if Birdman was the one who wanted out, she might have filed first to save her image. And then 50 Cent jumped in, trolling her on Instagram saying, "The women are gonna say, if you stuck with him for 16 years, you deserve the bag too." The internet dragged Toni hard, and it broke her. Insiders say Toni was humiliated by the whole thing and started avoiding public appearances. But now, Tamar's digging all that pain back up for laughs and likes. But here's where things get even messier, because Toni didn't take this quietly. According to close friends, Toni hit back in private, telling Tamar to fix her own mess before trying to air anyone else's. And if you've been keeping up with Tamar's love life, you know exactly what she meant. Tamar's relationship with her fiancé JR ended in pure scandal. He allegedly cheated, lied, and even stole her jewelry to gift another woman. Then, when rumors surfaced that he hooked up with Tommy Lee, all hell broke loose. Tommy herself went live, bragging that JR didn't stop entertaining women, and even shared shocking details about their time together. So, when Toni threw that back at Tamar, saying, "Clean your own house," it was the ultimate clapback. And now, the other Braxton sisters are caught in the middle. Tawanda is reportedly trying to mediate, while Trina has been quiet. But fans noticed she recently liked one of Toni's posts about grace and maturity. That's shade without saying a word. Meanwhile, Evelyn Braxton, their mother, is said to be heartbroken by what's happening. Insiders claim she's begging both daughters to stop, warning that the family's reputation could be permanently damaged. But Tamar doesn't seem to care. She's been posting cryptic messages about truth setting her free and not protecting fake people anymore. She's standing by her story, even if it means standing alone. And honestly, the fans are divided. Half are saying Tamar's telling the truth and everyone's mad because she exposed it. The other half are saying she's gone too far. You don't humiliate your sister like that on live TV. But one thing's for sure, the Braxtons aren't just fighting, they're unraveling. This isn't Braxton family values anymore. This is Braxton family breakdown. The legacy of one of music's most talented families is now overshadowed by scandal, surgery rumors, and betrayal. The sisters who once harmonized together are now trading insults online. And the saddest part? They might never come back from this. Because once you take private pain and turn it into public humiliation, there's no "I'm sorry" strong enough to fix it. So now, the world is watching as the Braxtons' empire of love and music slowly turns to ashes. And as one fan perfectly said under Tamar's latest post, it's not just shade anymore, it's surgery deep.
That is your man, as you call it. That is your man. He knew it was a situation with me and you. And he was down. He was down to play op games. I wouldn't take nothing like that serious, my love. That ate my ass, and I sent him on his way. It wasn't.
Y'all, and get this, Tamar didn't stop there. Because just when we thought she had unloaded all the bombs she could possibly drop, she hit us with another one. And this one might be the most humiliating of all. Tamar revealed that the very man she once called the love of her life, JR, had allegedly been out here running his mouth, spilling private tea about her like a man on a mission to destroy her. According to Tamar, JR had been going behind her back, telling people every messy, embarrassing detail about their relationship. The late-night arguments, the jealous fights, the emotional breakdowns, and yes, even the cheating. Basically, the same man she defended in public, the one she cried over, the one she swore was her soulmate, was out here turning her pain into gossip. Tamar said he was moving like a scorned ex, not a grown man, giving out her business to anyone who'd listen, just to look like the victim in a story where he was the villain all along. And y'all know the internet. It doesn't take long for a confession like that to spread like wildfire. Within hours, hashtags like Ears Tamar Exposed and JRTEA started trending. Fans were screen recording, dissecting every word, trying to figure out what exactly JR said and who he said it to. Some people claimed he'd been running to blogs. Others said he was venting to friends who couldn't keep their mouths shut. Either way, the street started talking. One insider even alleged that JR had been dropping hints about Tamar's mental health, her temper, and even private details about her family. Stuff that was never meant to be public. The same man who used to tell Tamar she was his queen was now painting her as unstable, dramatic, and impossible to deal with. And when that news hit the timeline, the internet exploded. Fans flooded social media with reactions like, "Not JR gossiping like one of the girls." And this man is out here giving TMZ exclusives like he's on payroll. Some fans tried to defend him, saying he was probably just venting because Tamar can be a lot to handle. But most people weren't having it. They said there's no excuse for betraying someone's trust, especially someone who went to bat for you when the world was calling you a cheater and a liar. Because let's be honest, Tamar loved that man out loud. She defended him when nobody else would. When the cheating rumors hit, when Tommy Lee was out here bragging about eating groceries, Tamar was still trying to take the high road. She told people to stop dragging JR, that love was complicated, and that she was choosing forgiveness. But now, that same man she protected was allegedly out here weaponizing her vulnerability. According to people close to Tamar, she found out about it through mutual friends, folks who told her, "Girl, he's out here talking crazy about you." And when she finally confronted him, he didn't deny it. He allegedly told her he was just telling his truth. That's when Tamar snapped, because in her mind, telling your truth doesn't mean betraying someone else's. And what made it worse is how she found out when he was doing all this talking. Apparently while they were still together, while she was posting cute photos, writing long captions about love and healing, JR was allegedly on the phone airing her business to people who had no loyalty to her. Can you imagine the embarrassment? You're out here trying to rebuild your life, defending your man against blogs and shade rooms, and he's the one feeding them the stories behind your back. So, when Tamar went live and dropped that bombshell, people finally understood why she's been moving different lately. Deleting photos, throwing subtle shade, and posting cryptic quotes about betrayal. She's not just hurt, she's done. One fan tweeted, "Tamar always loves too hard, and every man she gives her heart to turns around and embarrasses her publicly. She deserves peace, not pain." And honestly, that sums it up perfectly, because this wasn't just about gossip, it was about humiliation. It's one thing for a stranger to speak on you, but when it's someone who's held you, prayed with you, met your family, and called you their forever, that's a different kind of betrayal. Now, insiders say Tamar's cutting ties for good. She's blocking, deleting, and refusing to play nice for the cameras. She reportedly told friends that this time ain't no reunion, ain't no round two. And if you followed Tamar long enough, you know that's serious, because she's the queen of second chances. But now, she's walking away with receipts and a whole lot of anger. So while JR's out here running his mouth, Tamar's making sure the world knows her side too. Because in her words, "You can't silence me when you're the one that created the noise." And baby, that line right there, that's not just a clapback, that's a warning. Because Tamar Braxton might be down, but she's never out. And if JR thought dragging her name in the streets was going to break her, he might have just started a war he's not ready to fight.
I want me to expose how you were saying that you kicked her out and she went back to her mother's house. Not Mrs. Braxton, not Mrs. Not Mrs. Singer with the sold out tour that JR also told me was flex. It was cap. It was she flexing. She don't have no sold out. Between me and you was his exact words. The tour not sold out. He said you was messy. He said you went back to your mother's house. He told me a lot of things that he shouldn't tell a stranger. I just met this man less than a week. Love.
Y'all, I don't even think the word messy does this whole Braxton situation justice anymore. Because what's happening right now between Tamar and Toni, it's beyond gossip, beyond family drama. This is generational pain playing out on the world stage. Every post, every live, every clapback feels like another chapter in a family story that's turning darker by the day. And the wildest part? None of this came out of nowhere. It's been brewing, slow, silent, and deep, for years. Let's start from the beginning. Tamar Braxton has always been the firecracker. The loud one, the emotional one, the truth teller who doesn't know how to whisper. She's the baby sister who grew up in Toni's shadow. The legendary Toni Braxton, the icon, the one who had record deals, Grammys, and red carpets, while Tamar was still fighting for her solo shine. And while Toni's fame lifted the Braxton name to new heights, it also created a silent hierarchy that never really went away. Tamar wanted to be seen as an equal, not as Toni's sister, but as her own woman. And that right there is where a lot of the resentment started. Now fast forward to this year, and everything that's been buried is finally bubbling over. It started small, Tamar throwing a little shade about Toni's looks, her health struggles, her so-called BBL comeback. It was petty at first, just Tamar being Tamar. But then she doubled down. She started hinting that Toni wasn't being real, that her image was more manufactured than genuine. That's when fans started to notice. This wasn't playful sister banter anymore. This was something personal, and y'all, once JR got involved, it was like lighting a match in a room full of gasoline. Because let's keep it 100, JR has always been a red flag wrapped in designer clothes. People close to Tamar warned her about him, said he was using her for clout, but she didn't want to hear it. She was in love. She said God sent him. But behind the scenes, JR was moving grimy. He met Tommy, Tamar's old rival, and instead of steering clear, he got comfortable. He started venting about Tamar. Not in private, not in therapy, but to other women. He talked about her mood swings, her insecurities, her temper, painting himself as the victim in a relationship where he was doing most of the damage. When the receipts dropped, and y'all know the internet always finds receipts, it was brutal. Screenshots, voice notes, DMs, everything. People saw the truth for themselves. Tamar's man had betrayed her on the most public stage imaginable. But instead of walking away, she went on live, crying, defending him, calling everyone haters. She said, "I know my man," even when that man was proving she didn't. Fans were torn between sympathy and frustration. Because we've seen this before, Tamar loving loudly, forgiving publicly, and ending up broken privately. Then came the breakup, heard round the world. JR ghosted her, and Tamar spiraled, deleting posts, writing cryptic captions like, "You think you know someone?" and "God, why me again?" It was heartbreaking. But before anyone could even process the breakup, she was throwing subliminals at Toni, blaming her for turning people against her. That's when Toni decided she'd had enough. Toni Braxton has always been the picture of restraint, soft voice, calm demeanor, elegance under pressure. But don't get it twisted. When she's done, she's done. So when Tamar started poking, Toni finally bit back. And she did it the Toni way. Subtle, classy, and devastating. She didn't curse, she didn't rant. She just posted one quote, "Before you talk about someone's surgery, make sure your soul isn't under construction." The internet went crazy. Everyone knew it was aimed at Tamar, but then Toni followed it up with something even colder. She dropped a few lines about snakes who play victim and men who expose women's secrets after being fed by them. Who? That last part? That was a straight shot at Tamar and JR. The fallout was instant. Blogs picked it up, fans dissected every word, and Tamar, true to form, fired back with a live that lasted over an hour. She cried, she yelled. She accused Toni of betrayal. She said, "My own sister want to see me fall. She can't stand when I'm happy." She called Toni fake, said she hides behind her classy image, but treats her sisters like props. And the internet? Completely divided. Some said Toni's too cold, too detached. Others said Tamar's the problem. Always loud, always messy, always the one who takes things too far. But here's where things get real. People close to the family say this isn't just about JR or fame. It's about years of unresolved trauma. Tamar has always felt like the outcast, the one people laugh at instead of laugh with. She's carried that chip on her shoulder since the early days of Braxton family values. Toni, on the other hand, has carried the weight of being the responsible one, the big sister who has to hold everything together. They love each other deeply, but that love has always been tangled with jealousy, guilt, and competition. Now, they're not even speaking. Toni's team has reportedly told her to stay quiet, while Tamar keeps dropping hints that she's ready to expose it all. She even hinted at doing a tell-all interview where she'll finally tell the truth about what really goes on behind the Braxton name. Meanwhile, Toni's rumored to be in talks for a documentary of her own, one that will focus on family betrayal and healing. At this point, fans are begging them to call a truce, because honestly, the Braxtons were once one of the most beloved families in entertainment. Their show gave us laughter, tears, and iconic moments that reminded everyone how powerful sisterhood could be. But now, it's like watching that legacy burn. And the saddest part? This doesn't even feel like entertainment anymore. It feels like pain. Two sisters who built an empire together are now tearing it apart piece by piece, all while the world watches. If they don't find a way to make peace soon, this feud might not just ruin their relationship, it might destroy everything they worked for. Because no matter how much shade they throw or how many headlines they make, deep down, they're still family. And no amount of fame, followers, or viral moments can fix what's broken between blood. So yeah, we're all watching this like a reality show, but behind every clapback and every post, there's real heartbreak. And if this is how the Braxton story ends, it's not just tragic. It's history repeating itself in the loudest, most heartbreaking way possible. Know it.